Somewhere, hidden in the shadows of history, masterpieces lie buried, unseen, untouched, and perhaps lost forever. On a quiet night in Boston, March 18th, 1990, two men disguised as police officers walked into the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. They didn't carry guns blazing. No alarm screamed. Within 81 minutes, they vanished with 13 priceless artworks, including a Vermeer, a Rembrandt, and a Manet, never to be seen again. That single heist remains the largest unsolved art theft in history, worth over $500 million. But the Gardner robbery is just one chapter in a darker global story, where beauty and greed intertwine. From Nazi-occupied Poland, where Raphael's portrait of a young man vanished during World War II, to the 2010 Paris Museum heist, where Picasso's Les Pigeons au Petit Pois was stolen and possibly destroyed, to the Sicilian church, where Caravaggio's final masterpiece disappeared into mafia hands. Each of these paintings tells a story, not just of art, but of humanity's endless hunger to possess what cannot truly be owned. These are the stolen art masterpieces that vanish forever. It was just past 1 a.m., March 18th, 1990, when Boston streets lay silent under a pale moon. Inside the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, the night guard buzzed in two uniformed men claiming to be police. Those officers were no police. They were thieves, executing one of the most precise and mysterious art heists in modern history. Among the treasures they took was Johannes Vermeer's The Concert. Painted around 1664, it was one of only 34 Vermeers known to exist. The small canvas depicts a man and two women making music, a tranquil domestic moment. But in that silence, Vermeer captured something eternal. Harmony, light, the beauty of creation itself. By dawn, that beauty was gone. Alongside Vermeer's masterpiece, the thieves cut Rembrandt's The Storm on the Sea of Galilee from its frame, tore through Dutch seascapes, and even took a bronze finial from a flagpole, seemingly at random. The entire operation lasted 81 minutes. The thieves left without a trace, slipping into the dark Boston streets. The museum's alarms stayed silent, intentionally disabled. For decades, the FBI chased leads. Whispers of the Irish mob, rumors of New England crime families, even hints of art hidden in Connecticut safe houses. But the Vermeer never resurfaced. Today, the empty frame still hangs in the Gardner Museum, a haunting reminder of what was lost. Visitors stand before it in silence, staring at nothing, yet seeing everything. The echo of beauty that once was. Was it destroyed, hidden, or hanging on a wall somewhere, admired in secret? The truth remains as elusive as Vermeer's own light. It was painted in 1633, when a young Rembrandt van Rijn, barely 27, stood at the height of his power. His brush moved like lightning, bold, fearless, alive. In The Storm on the Sea of Galilee, Rembrandt captured chaos itself, a violent tempest. Jesus and his disciples battling waves that threatened to tear their vessel apart. But the real storm came centuries later, on that same cursed night in Boston, 1990, when the thieves at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum cut Vermeer's The Concert from its frame. They also sliced away this Rembrandt, his only known seascape. The thieves worked fast, ripping the canvas from its stretcher with a blade. They didn't just steal a painting. They stole a moment in art history that can never be recreated. The artwork vanished into the underworld of stolen art, a black market that deals not in beauty, but in power and leverage. Investigators traced whispers through Boston's Irish mob, Philadelphia gangsters, even mafia connections in Connecticut. Rumors surfaced of a dying mobster who once claimed to have seen it, rolled up, hidden behind a false wall. But when FBI agents searched the property, there was nothing. Only silence. Today, an empty golden frame hangs in the Gardner Museum. Its void framed by a single plaque. Rembrandt von Rijn, The Storm on the Sea of Galilee, 1633. In that silence, we can almost hear the crash of waves, the cries of frightened men, the whisper of paint on canvas. Rembrandt's lost sea still roars, just out of reach. Perhaps it lies forgotten, beneath dust and shadow. Or perhaps it stares back at someone right now, from a hidden wall, somewhere in the world. In 1939, Europe trembled. As Nazi Germany swept across the continent, it wasn't just lives that were taken, but the very soul of culture itself. Museums, churches, and private collections were stripped bare. Paintings vanished by the thousands. Michelangelo's, Da Vinci's, and one quiet masterpiece by Raphael, Portrait of a Young Man. Painted around 1513, it was a portrait of elegance, a young, noble figure, calm yet full of life, eyes bright with intelligence. Art historians believe it might even be a self-portrait of Raphael himself, painted during the height of the Renaissance. For centuries, it hung in Krakow's Czartoryski Museum, Poland's pride and symbol of its artistic heritage. But when the Nazis invaded in September 1939, the Czartoryski family tried to hide their treasures. Crates of paintings were moved, concealed, guarded. But it wasn't enough. Nazi officials, under orders from Hans Frank, the Governor General of occupied Poland, seized the collection. Frank, known as the Butcher of Poland, displayed Raphael's masterpiece in his private office at Wawel Castle in Krakow. To him, it wasn't just art, it was power, proof of dominance. When the war ended in 1945, Allied forces discovered thousands of looted works, some hidden in salt mines, others in secret vaults across Germany and Austria. But Raphael's Portrait of a Young Man was gone. Hans Frank was captured, tried at Nuremberg, and executed, but he never revealed what happened to the painting. Over the decades, there have been whispers. Some claim it was destroyed in the chaos of retreat. Others believe it survived, hidden away by those who feared discovery. In 2012, Poland's Ministry of Culture declared, "We have strong evidence that the painting still exists." But where? Perhaps Raphael's young man still gazes out from the shadows, a silent witness to the darkest chapter in human history. It was the early hours of May 20th, 2010. When Paris slept beneath silver moonlight. Inside the Musée d'Art Moderne La Ville de Paris, something extraordinary was unfolding. Not with violence, but with precision. A single man, masked and silent, slipped through a broken window. The museum's alarm system, disabled. Security cameras, unnoticed. And within minutes, 5 of the greatest modern artworks in existence were gone. Among them, Pablo Picasso's Le Pigeon aux petits pois, The Pigeon with Peas. Painted in 1911, the work was a quiet revolution, a canvas of fractured shapes and muted tones, where form dissolved into geometry. It wasn't just a painting, it was a turning point in art itself, marking Picasso's entry into analytic cubism, the birth of a new way to see. When police arrived that morning, they found only a shattered window and an empty wall. No alarms had sounded. No guards had seen a thing. The thief had taken Picasso, Matisse, Braque, Leger, and Modigliani, each worth tens of millions, with the elegance of a ghost. Investigators followed the trail to Violent-Tomique, a Parisian burglar later dubbed Spider-Man for his ability to scale buildings. He was arrested in 2011, but the paintings, gone. One accomplice later claimed he panicked and threw the masterpieces into a trash bin, fearing discovery. Authorities searched landfills for months, but nothing was ever found. Today, the value of the missing Picasso is estimated at over 100 million euros. But its true worth lies beyond money. It's a fragment of history, a whisper of modern genius, lost to time. Was it truly destroyed, or does it still hang somewhere in secret, in the private collection of someone who sweeps beneath stolen light? In Palermo, Sicily, inside a humble 17th century church, the oratory of San Lorenzo hung one of the most powerful paintings ever created, Caravaggio's Nativity with St. Francis and St. Lawrence. Painted in 1609, just a year before his mysterious death, it was the last great work of a man who lived and painted on the edge of damnation. The scene shows the newborn Christ lying in straw, light breaking through darkness, Caravaggio's eternal theme. But on the night of October 17th, 1969, that light was extinguished. Sometime between midnight and dawn, thieves broke into the oratory. They sliced the massive canvas, over 9 feet wide, from its frame, rolled it up, and disappeared into the night. No alarms, no witnesses, only the ghostly outline of the masterpiece left behind. For decades, whispers pointed to the Sicilian mafia. Some claimed the painting was displayed at secret meetings of Cosa Nostra bosses, a trophy of power. Others said it was hidden in a barn, damaged by rats and moisture. In 1996, a former mob informant told investigators the painting had been destroyed, eaten by pigs after years of neglect. Another source insisted it was cut into pieces and sold on the black market. Caravaggio's Nativity wasn't just stolen, it was desecrated. A work born from faith and suffering, swallowed by the very darkness it depicted. Today, a replica hangs in its place, painstakingly recreated from photographs. But it's only a shadow. The real masterpiece is gone. Maybe it burns in some hidden vault. Maybe it's dust. Either way, the nativities still cries out from the silence of Palermo's night. In the heart of Belgium stands the Cathedral of St. Bavo, home to one of the most extraordinary creations in the history of art, the Ghent altarpiece. Painted in 1432 by brothers Hubert and Jan van Eyck, this vast polyptych, known as the Adoration of the Mystic Lamb, was a vision of heaven itself, a blaze of light, dulled and divine detail. For centuries, it survived wars, fires, and even Napoleon's plundering armies. But in 1934, one quiet spring night, part of this holy masterpiece vanished. 2 panels were stolen. One later returned, but the other, the just judges, disappeared forever. It was a portrait of virtue, knights and noblemen, faces filled with purpose, riding toward the Lamb of God. But by dawn, it was gone. The thief left behind a single note, cryptic and chilling, taken from Germany by the Germans. Belgian police launched one of the largest investigations in European history. Every clue led to another dead end, until they found a dying man, Arsène Gaudetier, a local stockbroker, who on his deathbed confessed, "I alone know where the Ghent panel is hidden." Then he died, taking the secret with him. Over the decades, treasure hunters have searched abbeys, crypts, even beneath Ghent's cobblestone streets. But no trace has ever been found. Some believe the panel was destroyed during World War II. Others whisper that it remains sealed behind a church wall, waiting for someone to listen to its silence. The just judges, the final missing piece of a vision of paradise. And perhaps that's what makes it so haunting. A fragment of heaven, forever lost on earth. From Boston to Palermo, from Krakow to Ghent, art has vanished, but its echoes remain. Each stolen masterpiece carries a story of creation, destruction, and obsession. Maybe one day they'll resurface. Maybe they're already gone. But as long as we remember them, as long as we speak their names, they are not truly lost. If these stories moved you, if you believe beauty deserves to be remembered, subscribe, share, and keep this light alive. Because some masterpieces never die.